Welcome to Tammy Nation. Let's go.
From 9 to 5, been biting my tongue for all this time. Won't let anyone cut me short. I was thinking this was the way to go, and you put up your puppet show. I say cheers to life. No, I'll be no good man's wife. Just leave me alone. I'm running the show. I'm telling you, it's my time to rise up. Live the life I'm proud of. No, you better go home.
Hey, happy Thursday evening, everybody. Thanks for joining me tonight. Another show planned as far as what's going on with the House and the Speaker. It has been going back and forth again today. Also, breaking, Sidney Powell has pled guilty to her charges in the Georgia case that has Donald Trump in there along with 17 others. So we'll talk about that. And Mr. Joe Biden's going to give a speech at 6 o'clock this evening, Eastern Standard Time. And that speech is going to talk about that $100 billion omnibus bill that he was going to try to bring to the floor tonight. There are rumors he was going to do that. They were going to vote on that and get that taken care of one way or another. And apparently that's been moved till sometime tomorrow. Because what happened starting earlier today, as far as Speaker of the House, Jim Jordan waved off a third vote for him to go to the floor to get that speaker seat. However, and he said he supported Patrick McHenry. What they were trying to do is they were trying to get Patrick McHenry in there as the temporary guy for the speaker. They were behind closed doors. It was Emmers, who is the majority whip, Patrick Henry, of course, McCarthy, and Jordan. Steve Scalise was not there. What they wanted to do was bring a resolution to the floor to vote for McHenry. They wanted him as the temporary speaker lasting through January. They wanted to give him full power so they could vote on any packages that were going to head over from the White House. And I know we talked about yesterday that $100 billion omnibus bill that is ready to come down per Biden, that he wants to fund Ukraine and Israel again. However, apparently, what was breaking is Jordan said he was back in this whole thing with Patrick McHenry, but the Republicans did not want this, want nothing to do with this, and now they're basically at a stalemate. They're in limbo. Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene have put comments out there regarding this. That is dead in the water now. That is what they were dealing with. They were doing deals behind the scenes again, trying to get this accomplished to bring it to the floor. Now we're just basically, as far as 5:13 when I last checked, which was about 15 minutes ago, they just said they're in limbo. There is nothing going on. Vote, no vote, who they voting for or what's going on. Basically, the Patrick McHenry opened up the House floor, started and opened the floor, and then that was it. Just shut it down right away without any time frame or any information. So kind of screwy. It's another screwy day as far as this House Speaker. I don't know why it's so complicated and so muddy and so ugly when they keep saying that it is detrimental to not have the House functioning at a time like this. However, they're doing the best they can to make sure that people are all in when it comes to sending more money to Ukraine, Israel, and in this omnibus bill, Taiwan is included this time around. Also, in this omnibus bill, that is the big, I guess, holding point for these guys is another CR. And another CR means that there's continuing resolutions, which is temporary spending bills that allow the federal government to operate and continue when the final appropriations have not been approved by Congress or the president. So if they don't put a CR in these bills without final appropriations or the president, there could be a lapse in funding that results in the government shutdown that we keep hearing rumors about over and over. So like I said, Speaker acting speaker, Patrick McHenry, did open the House floor today, and he immediately recessed it. He never offered a hint of what's to come or what they're going to vote on or what's going to happen. So that's just been kind of a mess again today, in and out, because you could look at different news stories at 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon, and it said that Jordan's not giving up on speaker. He's going for the vote again. He's going. And then, you hear an interview where he says he's backing this whole Patrick McHenry thing. So it just, like I said, it's changing moment to moment. So far it's been 16 days, no House Speaker, and we're still counting. Who knows what's going to come in the next hour or two? We don't know yet, as far as I know. So how long is this going on with the House? Just wondering. I don't know how long, Southern Mimi, it's going to go on. But, I have to laugh at this point because, boy, if you don't just stay on top of it, it changes. People's opinions change. However, I have to say, Gates and Taylor Greene and a few others, are dug in with Jordan. They want him there. However, I think that, Jordan, he's a nice guy and all, but, I wasn't 100% sold on him, and him jumping in and out and then supporting McHenry and then supporting Scalise and then jumping in and out. I just don't think that he's representing the alpha male that we need to be a leader at this time. We need somebody that is heels dug in and that can get deals done. Now, he's been working on this on and off, and he's a nice guy, and it's not that it's a bad thing. And I know a lot of people want him, but he's not showing us alpha leader, alpha dog. It's like there's too many beta males running around, dancing around, and nobody's taking charge. The only one seems to be Matt Gaetz, and then people are throwing him under the bus, threatening to take him out and not want him to be a part of it. They're going after Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's just insanity. We talked yesterday about Nancy Pelosi coming after Jordan, saying that it would be a disaster and it's inconceivable they would have Jordan in there as House Speaker. So once again, there's no unifying or support across the board with anybody at all, it doesn't seem. So we've spent a lot of time trying to wheel and deal with the Dems, and we've been suffering for it. I think that's the reason we're in the position that we are. We, as the GOP and Republican Party, should be able to get a speaker in there. This is obnoxious. We're fighting for our country, and it seems like our reps can't seem to pull it together for a speaker, and they're certainly not being transparent. They are well aware that the people don't really want Patrick McHenry in there. We want transparency. But, they keep going behind closed doors. Let's just get out there on the floor. It's been, 6 days now? And we've had just 2 votes? It's just insanity. So I also, after what happened in the Capitol yesterday, it seemed like, we're being infiltrated from everywhere, from the cities with the illegals to the protesters out there in our city streets waving their flags, pro-Hamas. And then even inside of the Capitol, what happened yesterday. I mean, this is just chaos. You want to talk about chaos? Let's talk about what's going on across the country, not just what the House of the Speaker of the House is going on with Matt Gaetz, getting rid of McCarthy. That is nothing compared to all this going on. We also have some of the staff that Biden has that are pretty shady. We've got yesterday I talked about that Najwa Ali, who is now in charge of who comes in and out of America and who gets asylum. And remember, or if you haven't looked her up yet, look her up. She's a Palestinian Liberation Organization spokeswoman. So we also had Rashid Tlaib on the outside of the Capitol yesterday, literally crying and upset over and supporting Hamas. And we've got Ilhan Omar out there as well. They both want us to house the 1 million plus Gaza refugees here. So, I understand to have empathy and my heart bleeds for these people, the innocent people. Who doesn't? But we just can't house anymore. We have so much going on here for these representatives to once again put Ukraine, Israel, and the Gaza refugees ahead of what is happening here is causing, to me, great harm and instability. And it doesn't make any of us feel safe and or secure. And it just kind of shows you where we're at in this country, that they can speak openly about that and not care about our dollars going outwardly and not supporting what's going on here. We have so many illegals here that we can't even contain them anymore. We don't know where to put them. We're evacuating our own citizens to try to make room for these people. And when enough is enough, Hey, Harvest Mary Moon, and hey, Garrett, good to see you as well. And the one thing that Elian, Omar, and Rashid are not doing, you guys, is they're pulling at our heartstrings because, of course, we are concerned and we have feelings and fear and concern for these innocent people that are being harmed, these families that are being destroyed, and all that goes without saying. But what these two are not saying is how Hamas should be taken down and how they're against the tragedy and the atrocities that they are causing to these innocent people. They're making it like we're the bad guys because we don't put that first and foremost in our minds and sending our money out there. They think we should be just handing it hand over fist, which we have been, which more is trying to come down the pipes as well, because 60 million of this omnibus bill, or 60 billion, I'm sorry, is going to Ukraine. So we're still, sending money out there by the shovelfuls, and Biden wants to send more out there. Now, this speech that he's given tonight is supposed to, in the remarks, is supposed to put pressure on Congress to approve this supplemental funding package that he wants to put forth. And it's 60 billion, like I said, of aid to Ukraine, and a total of 40 billion for Israel. Like I said before, Taiwan's in there. Some about the U.S.-Mexico border. It doesn't give you how much money that is going towards that, however. And basically, they're saying tomorrow it's going to be formally unveiled. So if you have any interest in catching Biden at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, in about 20 minutes, he's going to give, and they call it a rare prime time address Thursday. He's going to explain why he believes it's crucial for us to supply Israel and Ukraine with everything going on there, that we need to supply them with all the finances and equipment needs that they may have, and we're just not going to give up. That he said it'll strengthen all the countries, our country, their countries, and basically he said how the foreign conflicts connect our lives back here. And I don't agree with that so much. Sometimes we have put our nose in where we don't need to, and we've spent years and years, and it's cost us a lot of money and lives. The money is one thing, but it's the innocent lives of the men and women that fight in these never-ending wars. And I say once again, you guys, why haven't we learned our lesson yet? Why are so many like Jordan, who is supposed to be the lead for the speaker, why is he pro all these big bills and stuff? It's just very confusing to me that they keep going at it like they're not even listening to us. They can't even relate to what we are thinking, what we are feeling, like they just don't care. Basically, it seems like, and I have a question, and I was thinking about this because we always say there's so many rhinos. There's rhinos, and why is that? When are they bought and sold and paid for? And I was thinking, why are there so many that surface? And then I remember a story that came out this summer, so that it was talking about how some of the people here in my state and a couple other states as well were being bought and paid for by a certain man that we know his first name is George and his last name begins with an S. And what they were paid to do is run as Republicans, but they were truly Democrats, right? So they were in camouflage. And there was supposedly investigations, and there were paper trails to this, emails, etc. And it kind of fell to the wayside. I haven't heard much about that again. But I got to wondering, is this in part why we have so many rhinos? Not just because they're bought and sold once they get in and they make deals like they do to line their pockets, but what if they are bought and paid for ahead of time and they really are Democrats running as Republicans, and once they get inside, then they can cause the chaos, they can cause blockages, they can fulfill the agendas of the other side, because if they outwardly came out as who they truly were, then of course the Republicans wouldn't vote them in. And that will also help partially explain why the Democrats can be so unified and together through thick and thin, even if it's horrible things that they do, and why the Republicans don't seem to be able to do that. We get the reputation as the weak side, the side that takes it and just bends over, and that we can't even unify. And this is a good example with the speaker situation that we are in. We have the majority, and people are talking bluntly about what they want. People are making phone calls to their representatives, putting the pressure on to say, you need to put your vote in for Jim Jordan. So if our representatives really cared and were listening to us, don't you think this would be a done deal? So I don't know. It just got me to thinking that maybe there's a lot more to what meets the eye, because I don't believe everybody is like honest and then they go in and then all of a sudden they're bought and sold and paid for. I believe maybe some of them it's true to the form of that story that broke this summer in my area, that in, like I said, it was other cities as well, but I just know about my area. Maybe they're bought and paid for and run under disguise. And if that's true, that's sad, isn't it? That's how corrupt things are. Let me see. Harvest Mary Moon, first time ever the military has done that to us. So yeah, the military put out a noise ordinance on Eastern North Carolina for a week practicing. Okay, yeah, put some videos out. That is really good. And Ukraine is still part of Russia. Gaza is still part of the Israel and war. I see a pattern here in the U.S. Well, I do have friends as well that are Ukrainian, and they tell me about the different goings on in Ukraine and how you have to function in Ukraine. And there is a lot of corruption. There's a lot of destruction. There's a lot of, you have to buy and pay for certain things. And if you have money, that you do pretty well. You pay people off and stuff. And some of these people that are friends of mine still have family members that live there. They're right in the heart of the city. And they've been telling me this way before all this came to explode, about that, it just wasn't a great way to be, that it's a beautiful, beautiful place in parts. But like I said, it's corruption, and there's a lot of corruption inside, the law enforcement, whatever it is. And that makes me very sad. They live here. However, like I said, they still have family members over there that they visit. So it is very eye-opening when you actually have conversations, or of people, you watch them when they FaceTime and video their families over there. And instead of seeing it through the filter of the media, you see it one-on-one, through family to family. You can see as they walk the city, you can see what they're dealing with when they talk about the different conflicts that they're having or situations that they're having. And it's very sad. And it is the innocent people that pay the price. Obviously, the powers that be don't care about their citizens. The powers that be just care about their power and them staying in power and getting rich and having control. So it's very sad to me. So the other thing that came out and was being talked about was the mortgage rates have reached their highest numbers since 2002. An example that was given, if you have 20% down and you're buying a $200,000 home, basically you're going to be paying $1,000 more a month now than you were 2 years ago, because there was a 20% increase in the rates. Basically, they've more than doubled in the last 2 years, and a lot of buyers have been priced out. So what happens is, you have less houses for sale on the market, yet how can you afford it? Because there's not very many people that I know of that would financially think it was financially sound or worth it to put their house up for sale and buy another one. Because if you've got a 2 or 3% mortgage rate, an interest rate there, why in the heck would you go for a higher rate? And but yeah, we're going to keep sending more money away from us and limit the amount of homes that our people can afford to buy or own. And we're not worried about that here. There's no sense of urgency about taking care of anything here at all. It's just incredible to me. Steve Bannon was also reporting today that they can't even sell government risk security stuff because the risk is so high when they go to sell anything that they're going to get slaughtered. He said that basically it seems like the financial collapse seems to be their goal. And I'm not even going to talk about the different kinds of money and all that kind of stuff in banks, because I'm not well spoken on that. I've just heard stories about that and stuff. But when he said that today, I thought that was pretty interesting that he would say that. What if that is their goal? And, it isn't conspiracy. It isn't this. It isn't that. But like I said, they're pricing us out of being able to afford homes, new vehicles. We have to work 2 and 3 jobs just to try to pay bills. So it seems like they're just pricing us out of everything, aren't they? They want to, and we've heard for years they want to eliminate the middle class. We're going to have the elites and we're going to have the poor. That's all there is. There's not going to be an upper middle even. It's going to be elites, and everybody else is going to be just drop bottom and the poor. And there's going to be a very few people that have all the money that run everything. And we watch that as these corporations build and build and build. And there's only a very few that survive and thrive, right? And they wipe out the small local businesses. So, it's just something to keep in mind, that's for sure. The other thing that came out today that was kind of surprising and startling to me at first, but then as I thought about it for a little bit and I started watching different information on it, it kind of simmered me down. And because I'm not well versed when it comes to the courts and the legal process and guilty, not guilty and all that, and why people do what they do, I guess that's a good thing that I haven't experienced that much. But reading up on it, it kind of threw me for a pause as well, because Sidney Powell pled guilty to the Fulton County, Georgia charge that the prosecutors have against her. They had 7 felony charges against her. And what she did, she pled guilty in exchange for a misdemeanor plea deal over those efforts that she's been charged with of overturning the 2020 thing here in Georgia with Donald J. Trump. So she is the second defendant in this case that is going on here that reached a deal with prosecutors. So Powell, like I said, she was charged along Mr. T and 17 others with violating the state's anti-racketeering law. She entered the plea just a day before jury selection was set to start in her trial, which was tomorrow. So she pled guilty to 6 misdemeanor charges, accusing her of conspiracy of intentionally interfering with the performance of the election duties. So that was kind of shocking. However, as part of that plea deal, she will serve 6 years probation. She will be fined $6,000 and will have to write a written apology letter to Georgia and its residents. I'm sure that we really don't need that apology letter. Not everybody in Georgia believes that what she did was wrong or incorrect. But also she recorded a statement for prosecutors and agreed to testify truthfully against her co-defendants at future trials. So that was kind of concerning to me, because that means she's going to be, testifying against Mr. T, Rudy Giuliani, Mark Meadows, and a few others. So I started looking around, and Steve Sadow, who is the lead attorney for Mr. T in the Georgia case, expressed confidence. He said that Powell's plea deal wouldn't hurt his own client's case. He said that assuming that there's truthful testimony in Fulton County case, it will be favorable to my overall defense strategy, he said. So Mr. T's head attorney is not worried about this plea deal. And a lot of comments out there are talking about, well, she would do it because if she doesn't think she's going to get a fair, then why not do it? Basically, she's got a $6,000 fine and she's on probation for 6 years. Yes, she has to testify, but if she tells the truth, then there's really nothing to worry about. But for a moment there, I thought, hey, why is she flipping? But why would you go up against that? She knows what she's doing. So Mr. Trump's attorney has confidence in this plea deal that she made. There's one other person that made a plea deal as well. So we'll have to see what comes of that. But of course, the other side is going to be chomping at the bit because of this happening, right? So the left's foaming at the mouth, claiming this is devastating to Trump and this whole issue. There's others that are saying that they wouldn't blame these people for doing a plea deal, that this happens all the time and stuff like that. But the biggest thing came out today that I thought was kind of interesting was Chris Christie. He came out with comments regarding this. He was actually in New Hampshire, Concord, New Hampshire. He was filing paperwork for the GOP presidential primary ballot there. And Christie had said, and this is some quotes from him regarding Sidney's plea deal. He said, Trump, let this crazy, unethical woman in the Oval Office, and that is what she is. I met her. I have met her. She's unethical and she's crazy. He said he let her in there in that Oval Office and suggested to the Attorney General to appoint her as special counsel to investigate the election. He says, thank God we had Bill Barr there, who said, I will not do it, and if you try to make me do it, I will leave. Christie stated the interesting part of the plea agreement that he finds with Sydney is the cooperating. He said the lady is cooperating after calling her names. He said she will be testifying against Meadows, Giuliani, and Trump. He said, but he goes, I've done this. I did this for 7 years or something. He said, you do not get 6 years probation and no jail time because you don't have good information, such good information that it's going to help your case against the others. So that is Chris Christie's supposed experienced opinion, that he doesn't think that Sydney would be able to get a plea deal unless her information was information that was going to be beneficial to the other side and that they could use against Mr. T. Giuliani, Mark Meadows, and stuff. So he seems all gleefully over it. And he said because he's met her that he believes that she's unethical and that she's crazy. So isn't that special? So anyways, like I said, they're just foaming at the mouth for everything. So, like I said, we got 9 more minutes or so before Joe Biden's given this rare prime time address. We can see if we want to watch that and catch up on that. MSNBC was talking about that, it's very crucial to watch and pay attention because we need to support the Israelis and we need to continue support to Ukraine to keep ourselves safe. Once again, I'm going to reiterate, I don't know about you, but my opinion is I don't think that I feel safe. I think that it's been crazy town, worse than we could imagine. Just when we think it can't get any worse, it does. We look at the chaos that broke out from yesterday, and then we hear this. Supposedly there were 500 people or so, 400 or 500 people there in the Capitol. And then they made all these arrests. Okay. But then I heard they didn't have enough buses to cart these people to and fro. And then I heard they didn't have enough handcuffs to handcuff these people. But also remember a day before this even broke out that the Sergeant of Arms gave internal memo to every staff member stating that there might be something going on there and that don't worry, that we are well equipped, we are well supplied, and we have extra security. Don't worry about it, basically. Just be on alert. Well, we've seen that wasn't the case. Now I'm hearing that they didn't have that many people, even though we saw a video of it, and not that many people were arrested. So what's weird about everything that's going on now is the stories keep changing. It's propaganda, basically, it seems like, on both sides, right? You see all these videos and all this footage, and then the next thing you know, oh, it's not true. Just like the babies, supposedly the thing that was going on with the babies is not true because there was never video proof. That was just to stir up more fear, anger, anxiety into people. And then I saw a story today too that Hamas did what they did to try to invoke more concern, more threat of violence, more stress regarding everything that happened in the hospital in Gaza. Okay, and then I hear and see that supposedly the hospital wasn't hit, that it was the parking lot was hit. And there were images that came out that showed the before and the after of the parking lot. And then I saw a video that showed that this is where the Hamas people were, and the hospital was here. And then it was at night, and it showed the dark images of the rockets being shot up, and then they exploded and came down on the hospital. But now I hear it's a parking lot. So all I'm saying is it's very deceptive out there. It's very mind-blowing. It is very confusing. And we just have to stay prayed up and stay confident that there are enough good people out there fighting the good fight that will continue to fight the good fight. And then in the end, we win. God wins. As threatening as everything seems, it is really stuff going on. There were also, another factor. My mind's going a million miles a minute. But Lebanon, at the Lebanon border, Israeli border, there was supposedly trouble going on and firing, and people were videotaping that. So now you've got Lebanon, because the warning was when you start getting into all these people and all these different groups in the Middle East and then Iran and all that. Everybody's getting fueled up and twisted up and fired up. It's just like the pot is stirring. So we've got the Persians, we've got the Palestinians, we've got Iran, we've got all this stuff stirring the pot, right? And everybody is starting to, I guess, get stirred up or firing. And I really believe 100% it is because we are so weak. We have such a weak leader. Look, he just went overseas, and what happened? Nobody would meet with him. Nobody, our leader, the leader of the United States of America, could not pull a meeting with any foreign leaders at a time of crises like this. He got with Benjamin Netanyahu, yes, but we saw what a debacle that was because he was reading from note cards, stumbling along those note cards and not making any sense and all that stuff. And you cannot say that you 100% support Israel and then keep sending all this money to Ukraine and all this money to Hamas and all these other people, these special interest groups, and you cannot have representatives standing in the front of our Capitol waving their flags and protesters waving their flags in the streets that are pro-Hamas inside of our country when they're going against Israel, and then you're saying you support Israel. So it is just really a clown world, and we just need to stay deep in prayer and figure out how we get through this day to day today. Hey, Lily J and Kettlehead, good to see you. Oreo, what Oreo say? I heard on a video earlier that they want to bring 70% of Gaza refugees over here to the U.S. Yes, that's what I said earlier, Oreo. We've got Iliad and Rashid both wanting us to support and house over 1 million Gaza refugees. And what are they doing? Like I said, they're pulling on our heartstrings is what they're trying to do. Hey, Becky, Justice, and Lily J, everybody, Harvest, good to see you guys. What they're trying to do is they're trying to make us focus on the death and destruction of innocent people, families, and babies. And that is atrocious and that is terrible. Yes, we know that. But once again, it's the leaders, the powers that be that are doing this. They are not trying to settle anything, talking or anything like that. Next thing we know, we're blown into this. And, don't forget that Putin met with President Xi the other day as well. And let me see if I can. Okay, and this is a statement bringing this up. Ted Nugent shared this. This is a statement that Putin came out with. So this is how we're looking to other world leaders. We know that it's bad. We know that it's bad within our own walls. But Putin put this out and made this comment. He said on the U.S. media, either they don't understand the damage they're doing to their own country, in which case they are simply stupid, or they understand everything, in which case they are dangerous and corrupt. So how do you like that? That Putin's calling us either stupid, simply stupid, or we're very dangerous and corrupt. So that came out with Putin saying that about us. So, you've got all these major world leaders, superpowers. I don't feel like a superpower anymore. And I don't believe you guys do either. And I'm not so sure how we get that back. How do we get this back? They're talking about, possibly sending our people over there, more of our people. We've got, as far as I know, it hasn't changed yet, but we have 25,000 combat soldiers and teams over there trying to help the innocent people out in a way, but they are in harm's way. Also, what was it? I think there's hostages in Iran, I think it is, that came out, and it's been 11 days that came out, and Biden hasn't talked about that at all. He hasn't talked about that at all. So there's so much going on that is way beyond his wheelhouse or how he can even comprehend that. It's like it is a SHIT storm is what it is. It is a super shit storm all across this world. And when we fall apart, you see what happens when we don't show strength and we don't show leadership and we don't show unity. Look at how fast things have fallen apart. It's absolutely crazy to me. I don't understand it. So the latest update On the speaker stuff, let me refresh this page here real quick. Let me see, the latest on the House speaker. Yep, there's nothing new as far as right now. The latest that they're reporting here is Jordan said this morning he would support temporarily empowering Speaker pro tempore Patrick McHenry, but we know that that's a dead in the water because Matt Gaetz has come out and said it's dead in the water. So there wasn't enough Republican support in the meeting to do this. And basically, we are still in a holding pattern unless you guys know something that came out in the last few minutes since I've been on. It's 7 p.m. now, Garrett. Yeah, it was 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time was what I read from NBC News that were promoting it when I looked it up. They said 6 o'clock, so they pushed it back an hour. But really, so there's nothing more to talk about as far as the House Speaker. I haven't seen anything new. I don't know if there's going to be a vote later or if we're voting for Jordan or not. So the comments that Matt Gaetz made about 3 or 4 hours ago said that they're going to stay in until they get a vote to the floor. But we've heard that before too. So who knows what's going to happen. Anyhow, that's what I have for right now, you guys. If they end up doing a vote or something, I'll come back on later and we'll talk about it. But like I said, we're just hanging out here and trying to absorb all the twists and turns that are going on in this world. And like I said, it does pay us, and it's hard to watch and hard to do, but I think at this time it is really good for us to pay attention to both sides and what's going on. I did it for a long time and I've started doing that, and it just gives you an idea of who's saying what from the other side and their perspective of it, and then it can tie in to make more sense with, like I said, some of these rhinos that what are they doing? What is really going on? They try to pressure us and make us get angry and say we need a speaker immediately. Yet after saying that and wanting us to vote for Jordan and make phone calls to our representatives, the first thing they're worried about is Israel and Ukraine. That makes zero sense to me. That actually says a lot. That says that they're not for us. They want to continue working so they can get these bills passed and this money sent outward for whatever reason. But you know what? We aren't in that position to be able to do that, because I had said before as well, with the finances and stuff, this isn't sustainable for a long period of time. There's only so much money. What happens if all this turns on us, or it comes in from the inside out in our streets and stuff? Are we going to have the finances to be able to have equipment and our own people to pay them to protect us? Or if our military is being sent out everywhere else and we need them at home? I don't trust this administration to handle it the way they should handle it at all. And I think that is the temperament of America and the citizens, that we just feel safe and secure, and we're tired of it and we're fed up. So, we just have to hang together and see what we can do. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Sidney Powell did plead guilty, Lily J. I know. Yep, we talked about that. Excuse me. But like I said, I was concerned about that as well. But after hearing what Trump's head lawyer had to say about it and realizing this way she doesn't face jail time and she just has to testify, and what Trump's lawyer said, if it's a true and fair testimony and questioning, that it should be okay and it should benefit them. So we'll have to wait and see on that too, because it was set to start tomorrow and it was like last minute, and she said, nope, I plead guilty. So that's 2 of them out of the total of 17 in Trump. So that's another story that we'll just have to keep following, you guys. Okay, Garrett, see, no speaker vote today. The House will be adjourned till noon tomorrow for speeches. See, thanks, Garrett. Because last it was left open. And why did what's his name? McHenry. I want to call him McCarthy all the time. Why did McHenry open the House floor and just then shut it down and leave it open and not tell us that? I guess because they're still wheeling and dealing. So I don't know why they have to adjourn till tomorrow for speeches. What more speeches do we need? I'm saying let's vote, 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 vote. We keep hearing these speeches about how great Jordan is or how great, Hakeem Jeffries is. That's enough. We don't need speeches anymore. We need some action. Done with the talking. Let's take some action. Let's keep voting, voting, voting until we have a speaker. Let's go. All right. Thanks so much, Garrett. And Lily J, you heard something different. See, you guys, we don't know. We just have to keep paying attention, and it depends on who says what. So, we just hang in there together. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Take care. God bless. And if anything else pops, I'll be on later tonight. Otherwise, thank you guys so much, and we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.